Sunmoon Lake is located in the central part of Taiwan. The east side resembled the sun, while the west side resembled a moon, hence the name. The area of the lake is home to the indigenous people called Shào, and there is a legend of the lake which introduces the culture and the traditions of the Shào people. The legend of Sunmoon Lake. Once upon a time, an indigenous community called Shào lived in mountains near the central part of Taiwan. The people planted corn, taro, and rice on their farmland. Sometimes they would go fishing and hunting. They lived a peaceful and carefree life. On a sunny morning, while the Shào people were working diligently, they heard a huge sound, and the land shook violently. "Oh no, the sun is gone!" Everyone cried fearfully. They could not believe that the bright, shiny sun had disappeared before their eyes. They could not do anything else except help each other to find his or her way home in the midst of darkness. Fortunately, the moon came out at night. Everyone could see again in the moonlight and was able to do work. Suddenly, another huge sound was heard. The houses were almost knocked down by this huge sound. "Oh no, the moon is also gone. What are we going to do?" Everyone cried desperately. Everyone was so frightened, and no one knew what had caused this incident. Starting from that day, the sky did not have the sun or the moon. Darkness covered the entire world. The crops in the fields gradually wilted. The fish hid in deep water. The flowers were not blooming, and the animals seemed lifeless. People kept asking, "How can we live a life without sunlight? Without sunlight, nothing grows." A young couple, Dajian Mountain and 𝗕𝗁𝘁𝗍𝗂𝗰𝗁, depended on growing corn for a living. Since the sun had disappeared, the crops had wilted. The corn did not have the golden kernels anymore. One day, 𝗕𝗁𝘁𝗍𝗂𝗰 told her husband, "If the sun does not come out immediately, everyone in the village is going to die from hunger. We need to think of a plan." Dajian Mountain nodded his head and said, "The sun and the moon must have fallen into a deep valley. Let us go and search for them." On the second day, both of them started toward the deep forest and were determined to find the sun and the moon. Each of them held a torch and started the journey bravely. They climbed and crossed numerous mountains, rivers, and forests. They also used countless torches, but they could not find any sign of the sun and the moon. The whole world was still in darkness. Finally, the couple arrived at the big mountain top. 𝗕𝗁𝘁𝗍𝗂𝗰𝗁 saw a dim light in front of her. She pointed to the lake opposite the mountain and said to Dajian Mountain, "Look, there is a shiny light on top of that lake. I bet the sun and the moon are in that lake." Dajian Mountain cried excitedly, "Yes, yes, that must be the sun and the moon. We have found them." They ran toward the lake and discovered two fierce dragons playing with the two fireballs, which were the sun and the moon. No wonder the sun and the moon disappeared. These two dragons stole the sun and the moon to be their playthings, cried both of them. Dajian Mountain and 𝗕𝗁𝘁𝗍𝗂𝗰𝗁 were really mad. They wanted to take the sun and the moon back from dragons, but were afraid of them. The couple sat on a big rock to think of a plan. However, They could not come up with any ideas. Suddenly, white smoke came out from under the rock that they were sitting on. Dajian used his strength to push the rock away. They discovered a long, deep, and narrow underground passageway. The smoke was coming from the passageway. Dajian said, "There is someone living beyond the passageway. Let us check and see." They cautiously stepped down the passageway. As the curvy passageway got deeper, the atmosphere got damper and darker. After a while, they came upon red lights emitted by a fire. The smoke got thicker. The young couple realized that they were in a kitchen. An old white-haired woman was standing in the kitchen and cooking. 水社姐 asked softly, "Old lady, how are you?" The old woman was surprised. She raised her head and found two young people standing in front of her. She put down her cooking pot and said, "Ah, where did you come from? I have not seen humans for a long time." The old lady also said, "Many years ago when I was cooking in the field, the dragons captured me and brought me here. They would not let me leave this place. They also forced me to cook their meals." The young couple told the old lady the whole story of finding the sun and moon. The old lady shook her head and said, "Both dragons are cruel and fierce. You two cannot defeat them. No matter what, we are going to take the sun and the moon from the dragons," said the couple with determination. "I know," the old lady said. "I have heard someone mention before that the dragon fear the golden scissors and the golden axe, which are hidden under 𝗕្�� Mountain. If we throw both items into the lake, the scissors and the axe will kill the dragon immediately. Then you can bring back the sun and the moon." Dajian said confidently, "We will find the golden axe and the golden scissors. After we kill the dragons, we will come and save you." Dajian and 水社姐 left the old lady and started toward 𝗕្�� Mountain. When they arrived at the foot of 𝗕្�� Mountain, Dajian and 水社姐 found two strong wooden sticks and started digging. They dug day and night. They wouldn't stop until they found the golden scissors and axe. After many days, 𝗕្�� Mountain looked like a big hole. Suddenly, two shiny golden things jumped out from the ground. "That must be the golden scissors and the golden axe," the couple yelled. They picked up the scissors and axe immediately and proceeded toward the lake. When they arrived at the lake, the dragons were playing with their fireballs. 水社姐 threw the golden scissors, which flew straight toward the first dragon and cut its body into many sections. Blood sprung out like spring water. Dajian hurriedly threw the golden axe toward the other dragon. The dragon let out two horrible screams, and its head was cut off. The lake was dyed by the dragon's blood. The sun and the moon floated on the shiny red lake. After killing the dragons, the young couple saved the old lady. However, Dajian and 水社姐 faced a major problem. How were they going to send the sun and the moon back into the sky? They were very puzzled. At this time, the old lady said, "I hear that if one ate the dragon's eyeballs, one would become very tall and very strong. After you two eat the dragon's eyeballs, you will have the strength to send the sun and the moon back to the sky." The young couple immediately dived into the lake to search for and remove the dragon's eyeballs. After they ate the eyeballs, 大剑跟 𝗕𝗁𝗱𝗃 began to grow. Their height increased inch by inch. When they got out of water and stood on the shore, they were like two mountains. Together, the young couple held the sun and threw it into the sky with a strong force. The sun stayed in mid-air for a while, then fell back down. They threw the sun once more, but it fell down again. The situation with the moon was the same. The old lady yelled at the bottom of their feet, "Children, there are two big palm trees next to the lake. Use those trees to hold the sun and the moon up." Each of the giants bent down and grabbed a tree. They put the sun on the top of the palm tree and began holding it up slowly. Slowly, the sun was raised higher and higher. After a day of hard work, the shining red sun began to function normally in the sky. They also used the same method with the moon. When the world regained its light, the plant began to bloom and the people started to smile again. When the sun gradually finished its course, the moon started its own course in the sky. As for 大剑跟 𝗕𝗁𝗱𝗃, they were afraid that the dragons might return. Therefore, they stood guard beside the lake. After many years, their huge bodies eventually became two mountains. Those mountains are now called 大剑山 and 𝗕歘山. The lake is now called Sun Moon Lake. To show their gratitude to the young couple, the people of Shào dedicated an annual dance to the brave 大剑哥 and 𝗕歘𗱃. This dance is now called the holding ball dance. In this dance, people throw beautiful and colorful balls into the air, and then try to use a bamboo stake to hold it. This dance symbolizes the brave actions of the young couple who saved the world.
Se